Hi, welcome to the Shifft Executive Coaching Program. This is just a bit of an overview of the program. So if you're looking at this video, then you've obviously signed up for the program, so that's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to working with you. We may have been working together, but this is a generic, I guess, overview of what you can expect. So it's pretty exciting stuff. We're going to get probably go a lot deeper than what you're thinking in a whole range of different areas. And that's because the model I work with as a business leader, it's a couple of really important elements. One is we've got to make sure that you've got some clarity around where you're taking either your business or the business unit that you're responsible for, where that's going and what the plan is. And if you haven't got a clear plan, then we'll build one. If you have got a clear plan, then we're going to review it and we're going to break it down into bite-sized chunks so that we can actually execute it. Within that, you've got a plan for the business, or you may actually own the business. We've got to think about what is your role. And typically people here say, well, my role is to execute that business plan. But I find it's more complex than that. And so you have a role as a leader of people, and it's about building the team and stuff, or doing what you need to do to make sure that we get that business plan executed. So what is your role in making that happen? And we're going to work through that in a bit of detail. And then lastly, it's personal. So you know, I don't believe you can be truly effective as an executive unless you've started to work on some of the personal stuff in your life. We're going to touch on that. I'm not a counselor, but we will do some counseling. We'll do some talking through some different things, and get to understand your personal life and I guess where you want to take it and where you'd like to see it fit, and then we make sure that it supports where your role and where the business is heading. Hope that makes a little bit of sense. Now, a key model we're going to use all the way through this is this model of which is the basis of all good planning and problem solving, the now, where, how model. So in each case, we're going to stop and think about where are we now. We're going to spend a fair bit of time talking about where you want to be, and then we're going to talk about how you're going to get there. Okay, so that's a model that you'll see in the background here through all the things. Now, in terms of the business, you know, the business component of it, for me, that's that key element. And the element that, I guess, the elements of this component we're thinking of is we need to have a clear strategy and a plan. And if we don't have one, I've got a process called a simple strategy process, and we may use that even if you have an existing plan to actually get some of the detail at the right place. But then we're going to cascade that to an annual operating plan. So we're going to be clear on what we have to do in the next 12 months. And if needs be, and if your mind works that way, we can cascade that to 90 days. So what are you going to focus on in the next 90 days? Now, along the way, we're going to use a lot of diagnostics and assessments and things. So you'll be not bombarded with, but every now and then I'll ask you to go and do a diagnostic. And then normally a simple process of answering, 20 or 30 questions, scoring your results, and then it gives us some indications as to where you go. Others are more detailed assessments, and we'll talk about those. In terms of the role, then, that's about setting a clear plan, not for the business, but for your role in the business. And the elements here are, we're going to do a behavioural assessment. So quite a detailed behavioural assessment called a Harrison behavioural assessment. And what I like about Harrison is it doesn't put you into a box and say you're an aardvark or a chicken or a shark or a whatever. It actually is just it tells me a whole heap of information about how you process information and what you do, so that's quite good. We're going to build a personal brand for you. We're going to make sure we've got a clear role profile. We're going to look at relevant KPIs for you in that role. We're going to do some assessments of your team, of your leadership assessment, and we're going to bring it all together on what I call the John plan. And in your case, replace John with your name, because we're going to build a plan for you. Okay, and along the way, we're going to use a chunk of diagnostics and assessments, as we've talked about. The last one then is this personal thing, and it's pretty important. And probably the major component of this, there's two major components I want you to think about, is the 20-year life plan. And this is not nearly as daunting as what it sounds. It's quite a simple thing to do because it's about big picture rather than detail. And so I'm going to work you through a simple process to build a 20-year life plan. We're going to look at life balance because balance is really important in life. And if you're spending 90% of your time at work, that just creates stress in the rest of your life. And so we've got to get some balance there to make sure that you can do things. And I find that Most people get stressed when the balance is out of place. And what weighs it up is it's not how much hard you work or how many hours you work. It's what you do when you're not at work that's important for life balance. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to draw on the other components, some of the other components we've talked about, Harrison's and some of the other assessments we've done to help you build this sort of plan. We're going to come up with a bit of a personal development plan for you, the areas where you need to focus on and sort of grow. And then we'll link the relevant parts of that back to the John plan. Now, obviously, some of those elements will be private to you and your partner, and we won't be including those in the sort of John plan, which is more sort of business oriented and around your role. But there'll be certain components that we need to include in there. Okay. And then the other component of the program is what I call accountability, and that's holding you accountable to your plans. And this is quite a simple process, and but it requires some commitment from you, and it works really, really well. So what we're going to do is have a 10-minute call every Monday. Okay. Prior to that call, you're going to complete a simple form. Yeah. That asks you 3 simple questions. What did you do last week that moved you closer to your goals? What will you do this week that will move you closer to your goals? And what are the barriers getting in the way of achieving your goals? Now, those 3 questions are reasonably simple. And what I'm not looking for is a big to-do list. I'm looking for the 1 or the 2 strategic things that you're going to focus on in the next week that you must get done in order to move you closer to your goals. So this is not about working through your daily diary and how many appointments you've got and all that sort of stuff. It's actually saying there's some strategic stuff that I need to focus on. What's that strategic stuff? Okay, so that's a really important thing, and we'll book a time for a call every Monday that suits you. And of course, it's okay to skip a call or 2 or move it, but what I prefer to do is movement. And it's really limited to about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Any longer than that, and we'll just make another call to talk about any issues that drop out of it. So we'll make another time outside of that because I've got them stacked up every Monday morning with my clients. You'll also have access to our Mindshop Online Resource Centre, which is somewhere you can go for 24/7 support, and it's a self-service sort of area that you can use. And I guess Mindshop Online Resource Centre, it's a great area for us. We'll use it to communicate and store plans. It has a dedicated coaching area, and therefore we can put up your plans. We can actually have conversations backwards and forwards about particular issues, and then I can log you then into a selection of the 150 business tools and videos that are there, or any of the training courses, and start those up or whatever, or add any additional resources in that we need. It's a great area for us to communicate and keep everything together in one place, so you're not searching through 57 emails to try and find the conversation we had around things. So we'll be making great use of Mindshop Online, and you will get a link sent to you. It'll come from Mindshop, but if you click on it and set up your password and stuff, then you'll be fine. Okay, so just how does the program happen? So the program is really about some regular coaching sessions with you. They'll either be face-to-face or Zoom, depends on where you're located. We'll have 1 or 2 of those a month. We might have some more initially when we're getting started, and they'll be for about 30 minutes to an hour. And maybe and then when we're doing some plans and getting deep into stuff, we might even have a 2-hour meeting. But largely it'll be 30 minutes to an hour. And if you need regular any calls in between, it's just a matter of either booking a time with me or picking up the phone and calling me. You know what I mean? So they're the regular scheduled stuff, but we'll do more than that. Okay. And obviously there'll be times when you can't make it or I can't make it or whatever, and we'll spread those out, okay? Now we're going to start basically with the Harrison assessment, some basic diagnostics, and I want you to send me copies of any other work that you may have done. So you may have done a disc profile or some other things in the past, and you may have some performance assessments from work or a whole bunch of other stuff. Anything that you want to send me, I'm really happy to take that information on. And then we're going to book a 10-minute call for every Monday, all right? So the next steps, you'll get a truckload of emails from me inviting you to a whole range of different things. You'll have access to Mindshop Online, which is my online coaching platform, and we're going to take it from there. Okay, so any questions, please contact me. Just flick me a text or a phone call or an email. Really happy to help you out. Really looking forward to working with you and helping you to achieve some of the goals that you've set yourself. Okay, talk soon. Bye.